after the Heat closed out the Hawks in Game 5 last night. Jimmy Butler sat out, Kyle Lowry sat out. It's obviously an Eric Spoelstra game just because all the young guys basically stepped up. The storyline of that game obviously is Victor Oladipo. Before that game, I said if he had a big game, if he played well, it's going to be really hard to say that he's not a part of this rotation moving forward. And he had a big night. He had a really big night, and it's going to be hard to see him out of the rotation, specifically against Philly, who they can kind of, if they were to move forward, and even Toronto's a little bit bigger, there's probably a little bit more size needed in shot creation. But I just want to go through some of the stuff that happened last night specifically. The threes have been falling for him, but that's not even the important part. That's just an add-on. The thing that makes him a dynamic player for this team is, for one, defensively, he looks really sound. Like, he did a really good job on Trae Young. He's a really good help defender, and he did really good stuff on one-on-one. But specifically offensively, just getting downhill, there's some intriguing stuff, and there's also something I want to show at the end of, like, the read he made at the end of the game to kind of really punch this one home. But the first one, getting down the floor, really quickly, I want to say that more than anything, he is much more comfortable in the open floor than anywhere else. Like, that's kind of true for a lot of guys, but Victor Oladipo, if it's transition, if it's high pick and roll, he needs room to operate, because that's when he can get to his burst and get to the rim and he can make something happen. Right here, 5 guys basically in front of him at Atlanta, 2 are trailing, and he's going to edge them out, get around him. He gets to the rim. He lays it in. Just getting by. He had a couple moments where he's basically driving right by his defender, which is the big sign that I think everybody wanted to see. So seeing him get by that first layer is the main part. Now, second play. This is right. He scored 8 points basically out the gate. That was the first one. The second one, we know if he can get by the first layer of defense, but the question is, what does he do when he gets into the second layer? Right here, that's Clint Capella that's playing drop. He gets into the body of him, throws up like a wild hook shot, which he does frequently. Like, we've seen that a couple times, that he can maneuver around the rim in different ways. But now, being able to finish through contact, through bigger drop defenders, he can be a drop killer if he wants to, because he has the pull-up ability out of high pick and rolls and everything like that, kind of how Tyler does. Obviously not at the same level, because I don't think you trust his mid-range as much. But when you can knock down, basically rolling downhill into that drop coverage with a pretty intriguing driving game, that's important. Another one. Now he's going to take the screen. He's going to wait it out. This is when you know somebody's a second overall pick and is a previous all-star, because this is just one of those, like, pro moves that you make when you just have total control of a pick and roll. Keeps his defender on his hip, bumps, leans back, and he gets into that fade. Another thing he feels comfortable is those one-legged fade. He knocks it down. Transition again. This is when he feels good in the open floor. 5 guys back, basically only one Miami Heat player in the picture that's set up is Gabe Vincent in that corner. He's ready to go. He drives right into John Collins, spins, gets the layup to go. And that's when everybody knew he was feeling good. 8 straight points. It was just a really good type of stretch for him. Now, before I get into the point I was going to make, this is another one really quickly, that transition. It's not only the driving game that he opens up in the open floor, but he loves keeping defenders on their heels, because that's when he can react and he can just do what he wants. Right here, he keeps Huerter on his heels all the way down. Now he gets right into his stop and pop pull-up late in the shot clock, knocks it down. Now, Atlanta, something they've done defensively in this series is to try to get away from Trae Young being hunted. They just do a bunch of kind of blitzing and recovering, where they're going to blitz Trae Young out just to show, and then he's going to go back to his defender. And it works at times. But since Victor Oladipo has been that much of a threat out of the pick and roll, they had to do that to Victor Oladipo last night in the fourth quarter. But this was his counter, and this was just kind of a really important thing just to see where his IQ's at this point, even after not playing for so long. Pick's going to come. He looks like he's going to take it. Trae Young predictably popping out. What does Victor Oladipo does? He refuses the screen. Now it's a 4-on-4. He has basically 2 of the defenders on Atlanta on his back, as I show one more time. That stuff is just so important right here. Once again, crosses back. Now he can drive right by Hunter. Now it forces the step up for John Collins. If not, he's shown to be a really good passer around the rim. He can dump it off the bam. But he gets up in the air, athletically lays it in. Now, a little bit after that, same thing. Same to screener. They're going to keep using Max Strus as a screener if Trae Young's on him. Now they pop out again, drives by the same way, gets the bump, gets the foul. It doesn't make him, but he gets to the foul line. Seeing those type of adjustments, seeing the way he's able to get to the rim early on, but more importantly, be able to read a defense and kind of close this thing out for Miami just by making those type of reads, it's going to be really hard to see a way that they don't play him in the rotation moving forward in this playoff run.